Half a month after the incident at Corellia Fortress, a sense of lingering unease still hung over the Empire. The government increased patrols by the railway military police as part of their counter-terrorism measures, while the noble faction bolstered their provincial armies. There were even rumors that they'd hired several Jaeger corps. At the center of everything was the Imperial Liberation Front. They had allied with a terrorist group from the Republic of Calvert to attack the trade conference in Crossbell, and as we'd seen firsthand, had attacked Corellia Fortress in an attempt to fire the 2 railway guns stationed there. They'd made it abundantly clear that they were no mere insurgents. These were dangerous people we were dealing with.
So the entire point was to just send that message? Maybe? I'm not sure.
And following their attempts to target Chancellor Osborne and the reformist faction, rumors started to spread of a possible connection between the Imperial Liberation Front and the noble faction itself.
Yeah. I was thinking about that myself.
Meanwhile, new information was filtering in from Crossbell that surprised us all. During the conference, one of the representatives of Crossbell's state government made the daring declaration that Crossbell would soon declare its independence, breaking free from its neighbors Calvert and Erebonia.
What is its current state? Is it not an independent state on its own at the moment? Huh.
To no one's surprise, both the Imperial government and the noble faction dismissed it as nothing more than delusional raving. But one thing was clear. That declaration only served to increase the tension in Erebonia and across the continent.
And into September. Everything feels so different now. Yet it doesn't, because not really anything. That fucking cat! The fucking cat! Yeah, you be displeased. You go be displeased by their affection. Ooh, what is happening here?
On a cool, clear autumn day, the Academy's prestigious board of directors gathered for their first meeting of the year.
It's been like 5 months. First meeting of the year? Wow. I suppose we do know everyone on the board at the moment. Conference room.
And that concludes my biannual report.
Oh, do they meet twice a year? Wow.
Good. It seems the Academy is running like a well-oiled machine. No administrative issues to speak of. Student performance is sitting comfortably above the national average on exams and on general aptitude tests, too.
The second-year students seem to be having a banner year as well. The Student Council President, in particular, has built up an outstanding array of extracurricular achievements.
Well, she attended last month's trade conference, and from what I hear, she put the professional secretaries to shame.
Ooh, good job, Toa. But maybe look for something other than secretary. I think your skills are deserving of a little higher than that.
I only wish the conference could have ended on a more positive note.
Less boom, more, signing papers.
I'll say, the share prices of my company have been on a real roller coaster ride ever since.
Undoubtedly, what happened at the trade conference has wreaked havoc on the economy as a whole. But moving on. I couldn't help but notice in the recent exam reports that Class 1 and 2's academic performance seems to be slipping. Perhaps the preferential treatment given to the upper-class students is hindering their scholastic development?
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Well, students belonging to the nobility are allowed to return home during August to learn more about their family's lands. It's a tradition here, but one I can't help but wonder if we've outgrown the need for in this modern age.
If I may, traditions accumulate and hold meaning only so long as they're preserved.
There's more to it than... I mean, that's true, but there's more to it than that.
Our nation's culture, its arts, its social classes, all are rich with tradition that makes Erebonia what it is, and I believe we have a duty to protect and uphold them.
I'm not gonna make the comment I want to make.
After all, does not this very institution champion the ideals of its founder, Emperor Dreigels?
Yeah, but ideals are ideals. We're not all dressing up like Emperor Dreigels every day, hopefully.
Indeed it does. Though I've always understood Dreigels' intent to be the founding of an academy for the people. Even 200 years ago, when education was seen as the province of the nobility, male commoners were permitted to enroll. Today, we have plenty of young women attending, and the commoners easily outnumber the nobles on campus. Perhaps it's time we started taking strides to realize Emperor Dreigels' true ideal.
I have to be honest. This sort of kind of reminds me of American politics, in that you have one side just like, we must upkeep the same ideals and ways of life as the founders did hundreds of years ago. And the other side just being like, oh, we totally know what they mean better, when they're all just a bunch of dead people when it comes down to it.
You seem to be laboring under a few misconceptions here. Commoners were permitted to attend, but only as retainers.
Not to say... okay, I don't want to talk... I will say this right here. Politics. I won't talk about it anymore, because politics is one of the things that just pisses me off, because people can get so embroiled in it, I guess would be a word. They can get so enveloped in the concept that they tend to forget looking to their left and right and keep their eyes forward. And because people like to do that, I'm only going to mention how it reminds me of it. I'm not going to discuss my political beliefs. You can believe I think whatever you want me to think, and you'll be as right as anyone else, I believe. And moving on.
Retainers served knights, who served lords, who served the emperor. That's the way the Erebonian society functioned. From that vantage, the structure of the academy in its earlier days certainly seems to have embodied that social order. And if that's so, what is there to suggest that it's not the social order itself that has become the aberration?
Well...
For one, if that were the case, it would be far easier for me to see my views put into practice. But I can hardly get a word in edgewise between you two. Well, I'd certainly enjoy a return to the way things were in Dreigels' time, at least in that particular respect.
Our apologies, Your Highness.
Well, our role here is to consider your views and work toward implementing them.
See what I mean? Would you be so kind as to help me out here, Principal?
I'm here to moderate this board. It wouldn't do for me to express my position on the issues at hand.
He's probably the wisest one here too, so he probably should just talk about it a little bit, but
That said, I'm sure your passion for reform will triumph in the end, Your Highness.
I suppose I should have known better than to look to my old teacher for sympathy.
I don't know the feeling, but
It warms my heart to see such a fine teacher-student relationship.
Now, if I may, I'd like to steer this discussion toward a rather timely topic.
Well, wasn't there already a topic on the table that was never concluded? I'm just saying, as interesting as it would be to completely reform the class system here, just like today, snap of the fingers, but
We've already touched on the issues regarding the Orbal Net and the Orbal Staves, but I'd like to stress again that the adoption of new security measures for the Orbal Net should be a top priority.
Well, I'm certainly inclined to agree. but we'll have to rely on the Foundation directly, as things are looking a little shaky with the IBC.
You can leave that to me. The other matter I'd like to review is the use of the orbital staves and the Arcus units. Or more specifically, we need to talk about how Class 7 should operate from here on out. Setting aside the fact that my daughter is a member of Class 7.
And his father, and the other guy's brother. They are brothers, right? It's been so long since that, but I'm pretty sure he's the older brother.
I think we need to reconsider how the class should be run, in light of what happened at Corellia Fortress. While it certainly proved an excellent chance to see what the Arcus units are capable of, I have serious doubts about whether we should carry on with these field studies, given the current political climate.
What about them would the political climate really have an issue with? The fact that there's, nobles and commoners interacting with each other?
It would be difficult to do so, I admit.
Or, the field studies,
With the terrorists at large and the problems in Crossbell unresolved, these are uncertain times.
At the very least, I believe it may be in the class's best interest to cancel this month's field study.
Screw that. I want to go on a field study.
We could always resume them once the terrorists have been arrested and the situation in Crossbell calms down.
Arise, O youth, and become the foundation of the world. I'm sure you all recognize the words of Emperor Drykos. They've become something of a school motto here. It's my belief that Class 7's actions at Corellia Fortress perfectly embody the spirit of that directive. They stood together to stop a tragedy in the making and, in a sense, protected the foundation of our world. No one ordered them to do it. They took action of their own free will, because they knew in their hearts what was right.
In a sense, we actually went against orders.
Some might call it recklessness. Some may think it rash. Some may even venture to call it hubris. However, as chairman of this academy, I'm incredibly proud of what the brave young men and women of Class 7 achieved.
Your Highness.
Troubled times may lay in store for Erebonia, and for the entire continent in the months and years to come. But I believe that makes something like Class 7's field studies all the more significant. The experiences they're having now will help them find the strength and the means to press on through adversity. I can't be the only one who feels this way, can I?
They do seem to be showing remarkable growth. That much is true. Although I have no idea how much my daughter is really capable of, immature as she is.
Oh, be nicer to her.
I could say the same of my hothead of a son.
I could actually agree with that one.
I do wonder about my brother sometimes. However, it does seem that enrolling at this academy has helped him start breaking out of his shell.
With the Academy Festival coming next month, we hadn't even planned a field study. So the issue at hand is just whether to hold a field study at the end of this month or not. I'd like to ask those in favor of going ahead with this month's field study to please raise their hands.
Wait. We have a festival coming up? No, let's do that instead. Let's do that instead. Please, I want to do the festival. Oh, come on. School festivals are so fun. Especially in something like this. It would be really interesting. Oh, come on. I'd love to see what sort of, festival games they have built around nobles stepping on commoners.
All right. I'd like to begin by taking everyone's ideas for our class's part in the school festival.
We should do a challenge room where people can come in and challenge us to fights, and we can kick their asses. Or we could do the whole stepping on commoners thing. That was pretty cool too. 127th Military Academy Festival.
The festival will run for 2 days next month, the 23rd and the 24th.
I have to be honest, the last event, right into the school festival story, I didn't actually expect them to pull this. Those two together have quite a contrast, and I didn't really expect them to do a festival story at all.
Equipment setup and the other preparatory work will begin in the afternoon 2 days before the start of the festival. But there's a lot of preparation needed before we get to that point, and the sooner we get that underway, the better.
That's all the more reason to figure out what exactly we want to do. Some of our options include displays, events, stage shows, and cafes.
Cafes.
Does that sound right, Crow?
I know what Crow's gonna suggest.
Yeah, though no class I know would settle for just some simple display.
Oh, did he change his jacket color? He changed his jacket color. Oh, Crow, you're seeming younger already.
I mean, come on. No one ever said, boy, we better rush to get in the line for that display.
Wait, you never said that? Okay.
Well, either way, I'd like to start by soliciting some ideas from all of you. We're just brainstorming right now, so feel free to say whatever comes to mind.
Oh, I hope I get a list of options I get to pick from. And I get to pick just something. Oh, Milliam, what's so confusing? Oh, Crow already has made up his mind. Everyone else is like, I don't know. Who cares?
Would it kill you all to give just a teensy bit of cooperation?
It might. It really might. I know, it's just...
It's kind of hard to focus right now.
You're one to talk, standing up there with your nervous fidgeting.
Well, I can't say I'm surprised.
The board of directors is in session as we speak, deciding what'll happen to our class.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is going parallel with that, okay.
And those of us with family members who sit on that board probably have even more cause for concern.
Why?
You can say that again.
What would they do? Would they say like, oh, I want to take you out of this class now?
We can't even be sure whether there'll be a field study this month.
Apparently there wasn't supposed to be one in the first place, so...
That's about the long and short of it. With everything that happened during last month's field study, it honestly wouldn't surprise me if they just canceled it.
I can't say I have any particular feelings of attachment to our field studies, but I refuse to accept needless changes to our curriculum, especially with my brother involved in the decision-making process.
Okay, so it's more about them having complete control over this.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
Makes sense to me. We also have to account for the fact that going on our field study means that much less time to prepare for the festival.
True. So we should do something simple.
So as you can see, it presents a bit of a problem.
Man, look at you guys taking this all seriously.
Yeah, Milliam?
I probably should have asked a little earlier, but...
What did you do?
What's this festival you guys keep talking about?
Oh, okay. That's better than I thought it might be.
Wait, seriously?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have gone over that for your benefit.
Every year the students here organize and put on a school-wide festival. There are stage events, food stalls, and all kinds of things to see and do. And it generally falls into each of the first-year classes to provide all the main attractions. Well, how convenient. Oh yeah, I suppose since it is a 2-year school, that means the second years would be busy looking for jobs and whatnot. It's one of those academies.
Yeah, participating is optional for the second years, since by this point they're usually focusing on their future careers. Oh, and each of the clubs generally get involved too.
Huh, that sounds fun. In that case, we have to do something. We can't just let the other classes roll over us because we're small. You say that, but...
I think she might have a little pride staked on this.
I've already had one of the girls from Class 1 bluster up to me declaring that this time victory will be all ours.
What?
It must have been Ferris. That sounds exactly like something she'd say.
Well, Class 1 does seem to have had it in for us ever since the midterm results were announced.
If it's all the same, I'd rather not see the House of High Arms claim yet another nominal victory. But we need to account for the fact that our class is markedly smaller than theirs is.
That's certainly true.
It'd help if we at least knew what the other classes are doing.
Oh, espionage time. Oh, we could do espionage. Oh, Milliam, you're small. And you have the super secret spy thing, too. Oh, we got a plan. Oh, no. It kind of seems like everyone's having trouble staying focused.
Come on, everyone, get it together.
Instructor Sarah?
Isn't this a self-study period?
Oh, it was. But I thought you all might like to know that the Board of Directors meeting just adjourned a few minutes ago. So I decided to skip along down here and be the first to break the news.
She's smiling, so that means there's a field study.
Then?
What about our next field study? Are we still on?
The Chancellor's not the only one with a little too much iron in his blood, because the board voted unanimously to have you continue your field studies.
You mean it?
So that's how it is.
You know, even though they're always hard work, I actually feel a little relieved.
Considering all that happened last month, we'll need to be especially careful this time around.
Still, it feels like our field studies are a big part of who we are as a class.
Yeah.
They're kind of a pain, but oh well.
We should be grateful to His Highness and the directors.
I'm pretty sure it's all His Highness's fault, so be grateful more to him.
That's good news.
Seeing the hard road and the easy road, then picking the hard one anyway. That's youth for you.
Crow, what are you, like a 40-year-old gambler?
It also sounded like His Highness and the directors will be taking off in pretty short order. So I'll let you guys out of study hall early to go see them if you want.
Oh.
If you say so.
If we have to.
I think I'll take you up on that.
Oh, Eustace is actually pretty excited about it. Who has the nicest limo? Probably His Highness, but man, those are closely parked. Mother. Father. Oh, everyone came out. Okay, that's an option. Machias, I haven't had a chance to talk to you since the summer festival. Sounds like you were quite the heroes of the Gurelia Fortress stuff. Oh, come on, don't tease us. I'll be the first to admit that we acted rashly, but in the end I have no regrets. I'm glad to hear it. It's good to see you again. Likewise, May feels so far behind us now. You have no questions, no? Oh, you have questions, no? It's written all over your face. I do. You were in Legram, right? Weren't you? To meet Duke Cayenne. Correct. I was hoping to have time to greet you and your classmates too, but I imagine you would rather he not take too close an interest in you. You imagine right. Still, I'm concerned. What is the House of Alberea playing at? Not just us, what are the 4 great houses and the rest of the noble faction trying to accomplish? You ask that like there's a simple answer. 4 great houses aren't as united in opinion as you might think. Even within individual families, there still can be disagreements. You know that I differ from Father on several issues. But rather than worrying about others' positions, I suggest giving some thought to your own, as a member of the family. That is true. Eustace doesn't seem to have any opinions about things. He just seems to be annoyed by things constantly. I'm surprised that you actually managed to make it here. I was expecting a business negotiation to crop up just in the nick of time, like it always does. This is something you make. Time is something you make, not something you find. All the more if you're in a position of responsibility. Well, that explains why you never come to see Elisa. Lady Elisa is quite the multitasker herself. You should see her. She's no trouble balancing your time between your studies, training club activities, and hobbies. Of course she doesn't. I'd be disappointed if she wasn't able to manage at least that much. You need to start using your time more creatively, Elisa, instead of simply doing what's required of you. I saw the railway guns at Gorelia, you know. I saw what those actions are capable of. I can understand why grandfather regrets ever making them. Do you honestly feel like things like that are necessary? Are you really okay with that? I think the fact that you've seen enough to ask me that now means that deep down you've realized that they're both necessities of this era we live in. Well... The opinions of others are only that. Stop relying on them so much. Observe for yourself and draw your own conclusions. That's what someone who is truly independent would do, anyways. Still, I wasn't expecting to find myself indebted to you again so soon. Without your intervention, the Chancellor and I would have met our maker in Crossbell. Don't mention it, we're just relieved that you're all okay, Your Highness. Indeed, I'm glad you were able to focus on making a positive contribution at the conference. I wish I could tell you that's exactly what I did, but I could scarcely find a place to chime in once the Chancellor and the Republic's President got going. Though the Mayor of Crossbell managed to dumbfound even them. I presume you're referring to the proposal for Crossbell's independence. Hard to believe that could actually happen. Well, as long as Ereboni and Calvert refuse to accept it, the likelihood of it actually happening is incredibly low. Still, they're planning to hold a referendum on the issue to see if the population is in favor of it. So, there will be plenty more chances for disputes to break out over the issue. Well, neither of them want to lose all that sweet tax revenue from Crossbell. Half of it flows to the provinces too, so fat chance the noble faction's gonna take that lying down. Milliam? I swear, this kid has the delicacy of a rock to the face. More like a punch to the face. She likes to do that. She likes to smash. You're Milliam, are you? The name seems to have come up with increasing frequency lately. I was hoping to get a chance to see the famous Lammy in action, though. Oh, sure thing. Come on, Lamb. No, bad idea. Whoa there, cool your jets. I'm not sure this is the best place to call out Lammy, just a hunch. Oh, lame. Objection overruled. That could have gotten messy. Honestly, save us all a lot of trouble if you just refrain from just saying whatever pops into your mind too. Haha, lame. Okay. Oh, who might you be? Say, are you from the Vander family? The one who serves as the prince's bodyguard? Oh, did Neidhart mention me? Mueller Vander. I'm Mueller Vander of the 7th Armored Division. I was with the prince at the conference in Crossbell, so I am in your debt as well. Glad to be able to thank you personally. The honor's ours, sir. It's an honor to meet a member of the esteemed Vander family. Ah, so you're the Radiant Blade Master's daughter. And you must be the practitioner of the 8 Leaves, One Blade style. I'm always happy to meet a fellow student of the sword. Oh, and you must be the young man from Nord who my uncle wrote a reference for. Yes, that would be me. Oh, Latu Lieutenant General Zex. Sounds like he's in your debt as well. Everything that happened in Nord a few months ago. Well, you all seem like dependable young men and women. Except maybe you, Milliam. I'm not really sure about dependable. Would anyone really describe Milliam as dependable? I don't know. I'm not quite sure she's there yet. Perhaps the prince's idea had some merit to it after all. Huh? See? What did I tell you? It's not just Class 7 either. The whole academy seems so full of life. Perhaps I should take this opportunity to break down social barriers by getting to know all of them in the academy's pool. Prince Oliver, these are children! If you really want to work up a sweat, I'd be glad to let you run back to Heimdall. If you keep up a good sprint, I'll bet you could even make it in a couple hours. You'd actually make me do it too. Ah, cruelty, thy name is Mueller. It's like their hearts practically beat in sync. That's certainly one way to look at it. I wonder how long they've known each other. Oh, she's so sad. They're on even terms, and Eustace is all confused about things. He's pondering. And Machias is just left without a thought in his head. Huh, well then, I bid you all a fond farewell. I hope we have the chance to meet again soon. Free day time? 3 days had passed since the board of directors handed down their decision. The assurance that our field studies would continue, we finally turned our attention to next month's festival. However, losing those couple days at the end of the month meant we had that much less time to prepare. And no matter how much we brainstormed, we couldn't actually think of anything really compelling so that our small class could really pull off. Eventually. Jeez, I can't believe we burned through another week already. But hey, at least it's the perfect weather for a weekend out on the town. I hope you all enjoy your free day tomorrow, especially since you've got another practical exam coming up Wednesday. You couldn't just send us off with a have a good weekend, could you? Haha, it just wouldn't be Instructor Sarah if we didn't throw in a little dash of torment. And then there's this month's field study coming up at the end of the next week, right? Yep, just like we've been planning. We might have made a few changes to the original itinerary, but nothing major. I'll tell you all about it when you're headed after the practical exam, so until then, keep on guessing. Yeah, making some sort of dramatic revelation. She always does, though. Oh, I can't wait to find out where we're gonna go this time. By the way, you guys really need to figure out what you're going to do for the festival next month. First years have to participate, so if you can't think of anything, you'll be showing your field study reports instead. That sounds fun. What? That certainly wouldn't be my first choice, or even my fifth. Anyway, that's a wrap for homeroom. If you do the honors, Miss Class President. Yes, Instructor. Stand, bow. Okay, guys, we really need to do this. Well, I'm sure she was just joking about putting our field study reports on display. I hope. Either way, we need to figure out what we're going to do by the start of next week. That sounds wise, especially considering we have a practical exam on Wednesday, our field study next weekend. That's how things stand. We should make it our goal to at least have some solid ideas by the end of tomorrow. We should also check out what the other classes are planning. If we end up doing something that was already done, it would seem totally redundant. Yeah, we should split up and start gathering some info. But remember, we need to find out something that'll work with the number of people we've got. Yeah, all the other classes have more than double the manpower we do, easily. And they seem like they have pretty grandiose aspirations at that. Huh, greatness will rely on numbers. Museums would be full of artworks produced by committee. There must be some course of action that can turn our lesser numbers to our advantage. Yeah, the question is what? Well, if you're looking for something specific to you, something that would be super duper great for Class 7 to do, probably something very specific to Class 7. What is unique about Class 7? The field studies 1. The things you've done. Well, field study reports. Oh my goodness, we have our answer. The field study reports are, in fact, the best thing we can do. If we had an easy answer, we wouldn't be spending all this time worrying about it. I'm getting kind of pumped. Well, a little interclass competition never hurt anyone. In fact, it might spice things up a bit. Obtain the summer uniform. Standard uniform. Is that for Crow? I imagine that's probably for Crow. Nope. Okay, I guess I don't get to learn. One way or another. Won't be for a while. Hey, girl, tell me what your class is doing, now. I'm more interested in the food stalls. Okay, you're not telling me anything useful. I just came up with a good idea. Oh, let's hear it. A shooting gallery using real bullets. Only problem is that you'd put a hole in your prize. That's the only problem? Yeah, I don't think that'd ever fly on the Academy grounds. Dang. Good try. Good try. Milliam, what are you doing? Milliam, back away from the burner. Back away from the burner. Back away from the burner. When did you end up joining the cooking club, Milliam? Not that long ago. I figured I get to eat all kinds of tasty stuff here. Just remember that it's the cooking club, not the eating club. Don't worry, I'm making stuff too. Are you really? I made a stove blow up the other day. Was that tasty? Oh boy. How's she doing? Milliam, maybe you want to be trying a little bit more gentle? Putting too much strength into it will ruin the whole thing. I got you, know what I'm doing. No, you don't. I have a sinking feeling that she doesn't. Oh, so do I. I had all but given up on the idea that anyone new would join our club, but then came along Milliam. She's every bit as creative with her cooking as Margarita, too. I really couldn't be happier. Okay, if you're happy with it, you can do that, I suppose.